Hello and welcome to A Life of Creation. My name is Chad and I'm the host of this channel. If you like what you've seen so far, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you know when new videos are released. Today we're talking to Michael O'Neill, who is a lapidary from Washington State. He takes stones like this, which is a tourmaline from the Ocean View Mine here in California, and then he turns it into a beautiful gemstone, and this is also a tourmaline from the Ocean View Mine here in California. Michael cut that for me. He has cut several stones for me. So let's hear how he got into lapidary. All right, let's get into it. Just use an overlay. I'm here with Michael O'Neill, and he's a lapidary in Washington State, and he's going to give us a little history of how he got into it and why he does it.
All right. Did I ever think that I'd be where I am right now doing what I'm doing? The answer is no. Uh, Boy, I spent 20 years in the timber industry, okay, for the family business. Being in that family business, being in timber, I got to be outdoors a lot, right? And I was in a family who enjoyed the outdoors, lots of backpacking, mountain climbing, spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest, just traversing the mountain ranges.
Right.
So I was always picking up rocks. Had my rock collection at home and uh, always enjoyed it. Never really thought about doing anything with it.
Right.
Um, it wasn't really until I bought an engagement ring that I started to get interested in this thing about gemstones, right? Uh, so I got engaged. After about 3 months, I was pretty disappointed with the way the ring looked. We're like, oh no, we made a mistake. We can see all these flaws in this ring. All these diamonds don't look as good as they used to.
Right.
The metal's all scuffed, and you're like, I think we should take this back and get a different one. So we tried taking it back, and they tell us we're one day past the return period. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, we're like broke back then. Uh, so they say, well, what we can do is offer you a loose diamond. You have to upgrade, so you're going to pay more. But this is a
Always.
way that you'll get the ring returned. So I say, yep, we'll take the deal. I'll take the loose diamond and take my business elsewhere. So that honestly, I think, is what started me on this journey. Um, so we took that diamond to the Shane company, picked out a setting, seeing how these pieces come together
Right.
was really fascinating. Got me thinking about other gemstones. I don't know how I got onto it, but I started watching jewelry television and the Gem Shopping Network,
Right.
and my curiosity is just killing me. And I'm watching all these beautiful colors on the screen on these little rotating tables,
Right.
mixed parcels of faceted stones.
Right.
I'm like, I gotta have some of those. What am I gonna do with them? I don't know, but they're pretty.
Right.
So I buy these parcels of faceted stones. I start collecting. I mean, I've always been collecting rocks, right? But now
Right.
the ultimate rock, gemstones. So I'm amassing a small hoard of treasure. And I'm like, I don't know what these are. They're pretty, but I don't know what they are. I'm like, I got to learn how to tell what these are.
Right.
So I enroll in a gemology course. I ended up getting 2 diplomas in gemology just because I like to learn.
Right.
And when I want to learn something, I want to learn all about it. So, yeah, I get into gemology. And then I'm buying more stones. I'm like, man, some of these look really bad under the microscope. I'm like, gosh, there's got to be a way to improve this. You know what? I think I might be able to do a better job cutting these.
Nice.
So, guess what? I start learning about gem cutting. And, books, internet. I'm not sure we had YouTube back then, but
Right.
something similar.
Yeah.
Uh, I basically teach myself the process. I bite the bullet. I buy a machine, which is kind of sitting behind me here. This guy.
Nice.
And I just go for it. I don't have any teachers. Basically, all my work, I am self taught by books, asking other people
Right.
questions, but no formal training in gem cutting. But I've got the personality where I like tedious repeat processes, I guess. I just got a knack for it.
Right.
Um, Kind of OCD, maybe. Not so much artistic, probably autistic, but that's okay. It's okay. It's got its benefits. So now I've got a lot of gemstones, nice gemstones.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there? I'm running out of money. I have to sell them or do something with them. So I start giving them away as gifts.
It's a nice gift.
It's a nice gift. Um, I'm like, I need to learn how to make jewelry to do something with these stones. And yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Right.
Uh, I found at the local community college had a silversmithing class, so I took the class for about 6 years until the guy retired. And then I kind of bought everything, brought it home, set up a studio. Yeah, worked on teaching myself goldsmithing. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at right now in my learning journey.
Right.
Is trying to really improve my metalworking skills. Um, and also, I started offering my services to other people. So, cut gems for people, um, make jewelry, come a long way. And that's where I am now.
That's awesome.
Just doing what I love. I didn't know I loved it
Right.
25 years ago. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything now.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be pretty satisfying just
Immensely.
taking a passion that you've had since a kid,
Yeah,
just being curious about rocks,
yeah.
and now you've taken it to the ultimate
I'm like,
pinnacle.
take it to the next level
Yeah.
and a level after that.
I have like 9 stones in front of me that you cut for
Mm-hmm.
me, and every one of them is unique and different.
Yeah,
So it's like your job is not boring because everything
not
has
at
its own
all.
challenge and everything's so unique. And I mean, some
Yeah,
of them, I mean, all of mine are, I'd say, pretty decent size. Um, but you get into the smaller ones. I mean, I can't even imagine, having to wear like the magnifying glasses and being able to concentrate. Very fine movements and all that kind of
uh-huh.
stuff. I just don't know if I have the patience for it. I know I'm not a
Yeah,
perfectionist, so I'd be like, that's
uh-huh.
good.
Uh-huh.
Good enough.
Maybe you could start with cabochons.
Right. And I mean, that's what's cool about it, right? Because
Yeah,
you can take it as far as you want.
yeah,
You can, you know, be very rudimentary in how you do it, how you approach it. You're like, I just want a polished surface. of a
Hmm.
stone I found, and you can even just use sandpaper for that.
That's
It'll
right.
take a long time, and
Yeah,
your arm will probably hurt, but you could do it.
you can do it.
Or like one of the more recent ones you did for me, the that rose quartz,
Princess cut. Yep.
and I mean the lines on that are just so sharp and clean. It's so you could do that,
Yeah.
or cabochon, that's the aquamarine.
Oh, the aqua. Yeah.
So
Yep.
I mean,
That was fun.
you could just do so many things. I like some of the stones I've done with you because I've just said, I want the biggest yield, and I
Yep.
just go with whatever the stone is saying, and we ended up with, a little portrait cut. I think
I
that's
see.
the
Is
green
that
barrel,
the green barrel? Yeah.
and that was literally a little sliver of a stone, right?
Yeah.
And you still made something very cool of it. And then, I also like the kunzite.
That's my favorite so far.
Yeah, that one's just, it's a bummer because you can't really keep it out in the light. So
Right.
it'll just turn white. And when I talked to Jeremy Fuller, I showed him the
The
topaz tip,
topaz. Yep.
and he loved that one too. Um, and that one was just you took the natural shape of the tip and
Yep.
just, kind of shaped the back to match it.
Yep.
And again, you can't really sew that one because it will fade too, but
Right.
it is just to see how that comes out of the ground
Uh huh.
and then have it, kind of just helped it and
Helped a
made
little bit. Yeah.
magnify it even more.
Yep. I
It's
call
crazy.
that treasure hunting. I like to find what's inside.
Yeah.
See the
Well,
treasure in there.
you definitely found some good treasures in the stones I sent you.
Good.
And I don't, I tell people I don't really wear jewelry. I have a couple
Mhm.
pieces. Um, but I think it's good to let people know you don't have to be into jewelry per se to really enjoy
No.
gemstones because
Right.
they are a natural occurring thing that is
Hmm.
rare and it takes a tremendous amount of things to go right in order to get
Yep.
something that is usable
Yep.
in a gym. Um, but even like that, the aquamarine is not clear by any means, but because of the inclusions and the translucent quality of it, it looks like
Hmm.
the ocean,
Yeah.
which is what aquamarine is known for anyway.
That's right.
So it's not high grade, but it has character.
Yeah.
I also tell people about the um, little like quartz cabochons you did
Hmm.
for my wife and her mom and sister. Like those stones, you can find those anywhere, but because of the trip they went on and it meant something to
Hmm.
them, and you could take a common stone and still do something beautiful with it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just a great way to hold those memories.
So I found you on, I believe it was a Oregon Sunstone website.
Ah, yes. Oregon Sunstone Guide.
Okay.
I
And
think. Let me
I
see. I think I got a brochure.
yeah, it was some like it was a website because I was searching for yeah, it looks like that.
It's brochure. Just got my picture.
Okay. Yeah, when I first got my stones from the Ocean View mine, I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this is cool. What do I do with it? And I started looking up lapidaries and immediately I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to learn a new hobby right now.
Hmm.
Um, so let's find someone who knows it. And I at the time, I believe I was talking to a guy from Singapore who's a lapidary,
Okay.
and he basically said, it will be too expensive to ship something to me to
Mm.
do it. because it'd be like $80 almost to ship it out there or something crazy. He's like, you really should start looking for someone local. Washington's not local, but there wasn't.
Right.
I looked up lapidaries in California, and there wasn't a lot popping up.
Now,
Um,
did you know what lapidary meant before you started looking?
um, I had a rough idea because of the guy in Singapore.
Okay.
Um, or I was maybe looking up faceter or something,
Uh-huh.
or gemstone cutter. I don't know. I was just, doing the Google word search. Um, but anyway, the something that popped up was I think the Oregon Sunstone Guide,
Hmm.
and I think I saw your picture. You're like the second person. Click on it. I was like, okay, he looks cool. All right, sounds like he knows what he's doing. And then I think in your bio it says specializes in U.S. mined
Yep.
stones.
Yep.
I was like, well, these stones are from
Perfect.
California, so
Yeah.
this should be perfect. And so the rest is history. And I
Rest
think
is
I'm
history.
I think I'm probably pushing 15 plus stones now at this point.
Yeah.
I'm always wanting more. It's bad. I keep going, oh, if I get a raise at work,
Hmm.
I could maybe get that stone cut.
Maybe. Yeah, it's tough to balance out all the things you have to spend money on these days.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Um, and the hard thing for me, I don't necessarily have top grade anything,
Hmm.
but it's just stuff that I've found or collected. So they aren't always worth what it costs to have cut. But
Hmm.
most of the stones I feel are worth it because it's such a unique item. It
Hmm.
is literally a one of a kind. Like you can't replicate
Literally.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Um, and having found it and dug it, either in an ore bag or found it walking
Hmm.
around by a river, there's
Yeah.
something really
It's
cool about that.
uniquely personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still worth it. Um,
Good.
and it makes me want more all the time. Like I still think about. I think I had sent you a. I think it was just a clear quartz crystal
Uh-huh.
that could have been cut,
Yep.
and I think even you were like, it's not even going to be near worth what it's going to cost, to get
Oh,
cut. But I keep thinking about it because I'm like, that would be probably my largest stone
it'd
that
be
I have,
big. Yeah.
and it would be awesome looking.
This is true.
So there's like a part of me I'm like, I should just do it someday, you know.
Someday.
Like if I ever got to a point where I had um money to spend
Yeah.
freely, that would be something I would consider for sure.
Yeah.
Because it would mean something to me.
Hmm.
And my son's got into the rocks a little bit too. So,
Right.
hey, I'm literally handing off a treasure chest.
Yes.
Every pirate, every archaeologist you can imagine wishes they found this.
Yes, exactly. Those boys will appreciate it.
I hope so. I'm trying, they're still pretty young, so, they reach, grab for anything that sparkles. So I have to
Hmm.
kind of relax, calm. You don't need to rip it from each other's hands. Let's collect them and set them aside. I also have some that were cheaper, affordable, pre-cut. Like I just bought it
Yeah.
off of someone, and someone on Etsy that I've bought several stones from was selling just these mixed tubes of I think like 100 carats of just loose gemstones, and it's like nothing crazy, maybe garnets, topaz,
Yep.
quartz,
Hmm.
and so I have two of those. And so whenever my boys want to look at stuff, I
Hmm.
pull those out and just dump it in a bowl and say, have fun.
Yeah.
Don't lose it, right? But, you know, feel free to pick them up. So I think it's good to have, the ones you tuck away. And
Hmm.
then the ones like explore, because that's how
Yeah.
you fall in love with it.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
And I mean, the
Hands
tube was
on.
like 25 bucks for 100 carats of gems. It was crazy. And some of them were really cool looking
Oh,
and,
for sure.
and decent size. So I'm like, this is great even for me to kind of just be able to
Hmm.
look at them. And we have a little telescope and can check it out. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's just a fun way to not worry about the value and just let them have
Yeah.
fun. Now, you actually go and mine and stuff too, right?
I do, not as often as I like. Let's see, when was the last time I went down? I think it was last summer. Last summer I went down to Oregon, dug sunstone. That's usually where I go.
Right.
I know a lot of the miners now. I've been going down for probably 15, 18 years, something like that. So got to know a lot of people,
Right.
great people down there. And I just enjoy the hunt.
Yeah.
The hunt for treasure. Just, I don't even care if it's good material, as long
Right.
as I'm finding something
Right.
that nature made and I'm able to pull it out.
Right.
And I'm like the first person
I
who's
mean,
held that in their hand.
right. It's a crazy, like talking to Jeremy Fuller was just like, he's like, I am just the vessel that pulls out Mother Nature's art and shows it to the world. And he's like,
Yep.
to me, that's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Literally
It's,
the first person probably to ever see that thing.
yeah. Yeah. I've got, it's still sitting in my office. I came back with buckets of just feldspar. That's just from one particular pit I went to.
Nice.
Spent a day. These rocks came from the Double Eagle mine. And so these ones have like a red,
Right.
pinkish, orange color center.
That's just crazy. So when
Those are
you
kind of the more valuable.
right. So when you cut that, does you get the red with the kind of the yellowish color too?
You can. If you blend the red and the yellow, you get kind of an orange color.
Okay.
I guess makes sense. You get the darkest color, you want to get rid of all the yellow
Okay.
and just keep the red reflecting light.
I think you showed me some of the sunstones and they were red.
Mm-hmm.
And I always was curious about that because I think feel like most sunstones I've seen have either been like a yellowish or a
Yep.
clearish yellow or something.
Yeah.
So when you showed
Those are
the
the most
red,
common.
I was like, "Whoa, what is that?" Because that does not look
Yeah.
like what I normally see.
No. There are some pretty nice greens out there too.
Okay, I think I've seen some green.
Not
Are
not as common.
are those local to only specific areas? Like the green are found here, red are here, or is it just
Um,
the mineral makeup?
I would say the concentration varies from mine to mine. There's a particular location called Little Eagle Butte, I think. So the Sunstone Butte mine, and then I think it's called the Panamine, or no, Sun Summit now.
Okay,
That particular location, which is about 12 miles away from the, I guess, other mines that normally you can go to,
right.
that location has a lot of green, pretty saturated colors.
So whatever extra chemical they got there just did something good,
Yeah, they just had the right mixture.
right?
It could have been a newer flow. I don't know.
Right. My
Yeah.
sister-in-law, we always go up to Oregon
Hmm.
during the summer, and she's just trying to get the family to meet down by one of the sunstone mines and do at least one day of just searching for sunstones. And of
Sure.
course, I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
It's just harder to get the rest of the family to, because it's gonna be hot.
Yep.
It's the desert area of Oregon, so it's not necessarily shaded.
Hmm.
It's you're in a desert,
Sagebrush. That's all you get.
right? Because we usually go to the Oregon coast, which is just
Hmm.
beautiful and lush and amazing.
Yes.
But I'm like, I am all for it. Let's get everyone on board because she kind of got into the searching.
Okay.
Um, I think doing the Ocean View tour kind of helped spark a little bit of that too. And for
Yeah.
her birthday, we got her a bag from the hog mine that had
Hmm.
the rose quartz and stuff.
Right.
And I showed you the Heliodor, the golden
Hmm.
barrel chunk that she found in that bag too. And
That was a beautiful piece.
yeah, um, so I think she's hooked.
Good. That's good.
It's fun. I mean, once you find one that's a
Yeah.
cool, it's really hard to be like, you don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the car dealership waiting on my car to get serviced, and they
Hmm.
had gravel in their like parking lot. I picked up like three rocks that I brought home because I was like, "Ooh, that one's shining." Yeah, what is that?
I still do that. Yeah.
So, I mean, this isn't what you do now, but you mentioned being in like the timber business.
Hmm.
Um, were you actually like a logger then, or were you on a
No. So
different part of it?
the yeah, short story, I guess, is the family uh, started out as a lumber company, uh, and we had sawmills.
Okay.
So we were producing lumber. We bought land to feed the sawmills. Sawmilling went really bad in the 80s, got rid of the mills, so we were left with the land.
Hmm,
So essentially, we were land managers who hired the loggers.
gotcha.
Yeah. So we basically tree farm until the trees were about 75 or 80 years old. Cut them
Crazy.
down, replant, and just
Just do the
wait for the
cycle.
next cycle. Yeah.
Is your family still doing that? And you just are
Yeah.
like, I'm over it and moved on?
Yeah. It's 6 years ago, roughly, I officially exited. Kind of been working two jobs for quite a while.
During all that time, you're probably learning all of this.
Correct.
And like you said, you love this. So you're finally like, all right, I'm making the jump.
Made the jump. Probably what really pushed me over the edge was the weather was finally getting to me. Being out in the Pacific Northwest in winter in the forest is not fun.
No. Uh-uh.
Not at all.
I'm from Southern California. I can't even imagine.
No.
I think it's important for people to know just, you don't have to fully leave a career to start
Hmm.
something that you're passionate about. But then
Yeah.
there's the chance you have to actually go full bore into it and make that
Hmm.
leap. I know I did that as a photographer,
Hmm.
but you did it as a lapidary artist.
Yep.
You need to eat and pay bills until
Hmm.
you're ready. Um, but I think it's good for people to know that you can dive into these things. Don't be scared and just put in your time when you can.
Yep.
And then if you love it that much, go for it. Take the leap.
Yep.
Is there any stones or anything that you want to show? Like, what's your favorite piece that you've done? I'm sure you probably got rid of the piece that was probably your favorite because you had to.
A lot of my work these days is for other people.
Right.
Custom, custom jewelry, and I don't really have a lot of time for myself. I am particularly fond of this little guy because
That
this comes from California.
oh, Benonite? Is that how you
Bonito White.
Benitoite?
Yep.
That's another downfall. I can't pronounce any of these things.
Yeah.
I
They
read the
really name
books, I'm
rocks
like,
weirdly.
yeah, I read the books, I'm like, what? And then
Yeah.
like Red Barrels has a different name, and then same name as another one, and you're like, what is going on? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Now, did you go down there and collect that yourself?
I have not, although I would like to go
I want,
search the pile they have there
yeah,
one of these days. It's just not conveniently located to
no,
anything I visit.
no. It is in probably one of the worst spots of California.
Like
I
there's
think
nothing else there.
there isn't. Um, so we actually stayed very close to it at Harris
Okay.
Ranch. I think they do cattle, but I think they also do like dates and other stuff.
Okay.
They do
Hmm.
a lot of farm. Anyway, it was we were coming back down from Oregon, and I was like, it was one of the cheaper places, but it looks amazing. I'm like,
Hmm.
how is that so cheap? Well, it smells like manure because it is a farm, like it is
Yep.
legitimately a
Yep.
farm. But it was a really nice place, and then you could go get breakfast at the restaurant, and most of it is like stuff from their farm that you can
Yeah.
get. So
That's
it was
cool.
actually a cool experience. And then I was like looking at it, I was like, wait, basically in Kalinga.
Hmm.
That mine is just on the other side of the freeway, essentially. But
Yeah.
I didn't plan it out right.
It's
Time
on
we
my bucket list.
Yeah, every time we go up there, it's like 110 or something, and I'm like, I don't want to go digging in dirt.
No.
So
No.
I keep saying I want to just like once my oldest is a little bit older, just take the boys for a night, go up there,
Yeah.
do it more in like spring, fall, maybe
Hmm.
when it's not so hot,
Yeah.
because it looks cool. I watched a couple of their uh, videos that they have posted. And the one they always show is like this kid finds this specimen rock and
Hmm.
just it was probably like that big chunk on
Good
it,
grief.
and they shine the light through it, and it's like you could see it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool looking.
So cool.
Yeah, and that is only the location that is found, right?
That's gem
Gem
quality
quality.
and
Yeah,
size is large enough to do anything with. Yeah. It's been found in a couple other places,
right,
but very, very small.
right.
So I got that piece. I bought a bunch of called it Mine Run,
Okay,
and then I was etching specimens. Occasionally, little pieces break off, and I was able to cut that one from
nice.
a piece I have found.
I
Yeah,
think they actually do sell dirt that you can have mailed. Might have to try that one of these days.
you might have to try, and I've bought a few buckets of dirt over the years,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, it's convenient. You could do it at your house, and you do find cool stuff. Like
Yeah,
everything that I've sent you has been basically stuff I found in those things.
yeah.
And I mean, there's that huge chunk of rose quartz. That's another
Hmm.
piece that wouldn't be worth as much as it costs to cut, but I just I like dream about having that cut, that cut because it would just be, that would be a chunk of
Yeah,
gemstone.
yeah,
Like
it'd
I
be
could put that on a
huge.
mantle and you
Oh
could see
yeah,
it across the room.
yeah. That'd be
So,
something to be proud of.
right.
Well, let me show you just kind of random projects I have working that I'm working on. First up is a Steuben prism.
Wow.
So these are made by the Steuben Glassware Company, apparently. And this one came to me because it's chipped
Okay.
up here, and the client wants me to fix it. Well, I can't really. I'm not used to this Zoom stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, there's a chip there. I
Uh-huh.
kind of highlighted in Sharpie
Right.
what I could do to add a facet to kind of clear out that chip. What it
Top it.
would do to the geometry inside,
Uh,
because it's got this little tetrahedron
right.
from the reflections. So it's a lapidary project I have, and then I have something more simple, replace an onyx that broke. So I just cut a new onyx and set it in there.
So for something like that, do you just have rough stone available, a bunch of different kinds and
Yeah,
okay.
I usually keep a stock of a lot of just random
Because I'm sure you
stuff.
get some random requests. I mean, Onyx
I
isn't
do.
necessarily
I do.
everyday stuff.
No, onyx, turquoise, uh, yeah, some of these cabochon materials
Right.
tend to come up fairly often, so I like to keep a pretty healthy stock.
Right.
Here we have a older lab-grown color change corundum.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to make a simple bezel ring with that. Next up, I've got a guy who wants me to cut these
That
lab-grown garnet.
oh,
This is YAG.
so would that be kind of looking like Savorite
Yep,
or
very
okay.
similar to right? So he's making an engagement ring, and he needs some leaves. So my job is to cut little
Leaves?
pear-shaped leaves to add.
Those are going to be some big pear-shaped leaves.
I gotta trim them down. I'll trim them down, and then also another synthetic, kind of light blue stone. I'm
Almost looks
going to
like
cut
fluoride.
into a longer triangular shape for a pendant.
Is that what would that one be kind of
I
replicating?
think that would probably look most like aqua or blue topaz.
Looks like gem
Uh,
silica too.
yeah, yeah, it does.
Or that I have a
Um,
fluoride kind of that color.
I returned from the Tucson Gem shows about, well, they were in early February, so I still have all the stuff I bought in Tucson sitting out here.
Yeah.
And this is kind of my backlog of
Oh my goodness.
faceted stones I'm working on.
What's
Lots
that
of
hot pink
sunstones
one?
in there. This was going to be a competition stone. This is, good grief. This is a lab grown spinel. A lot of random stuff,
Yeah.
all different, all challenging in its own way.
So I haven't actually asked anyone this question, but since you cut stone, can you tell the difference between the earth mined and lab grown?
If we're talking diamond,
Either any
or
stone. Yeah, any.
I have a better chance than a lot of people since I've gone through the gemology courseworks.
Right.
And I also have some better equipment than run of the mill gemologists. Some of the diamonds need some
Right. I mean, to
specialized.
cut some diamonds, don't they use lasers a lot of the time now?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, you're using diamond plated plates to cut
Yep.
everything else, so
Yeah.
can't really cut a diamond with a diamond, or it'll take a long time at least.
Yes, it would take a very long time. The process is pretty similar.
Right.
The diamond cutting equipment's just a lot more robust.
Right.
Higher speeds, thicker metal plates, um, and they have to use a mechanical clamp to actually hold the diamond because any adhesive would just burn at the temperatures diamond reaches when it's
Right.
got all that friction.
Now what about like the YAG and a real garnet? Would that is it
Yeah,
pretty? Can you tell the difference? Like if you were just handed a stone and like, hey, it's a garnet, would you be able to tell?
my
I'm
eye, probably not.
okay,
If it looks too good to be true, probably is.
right. But
That's your
the
first.
yeah,
The
is
microscope is your next tool.
right,
See if you can see any features inside that might give you a clue.
right. But cutting, is there any difference in the cutting process? No,
Nope.
pretty much similar.
Pretty similar. Lab grown has fewer flaws, so
Right.
generally it's less trouble.
Do you prefer one over the other? I would assume probably natural just because you're a rock person, but
For me, yeah, natural is my favorite.
right.
It's just the rarity,
Yeah.
the chance of finding it
I mean,
is more valuable to me.
right. I mean, as a treasure hunter yourself, I mean, that's
Hmm.
part of the thrill of it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so speaking of cutting diamonds, I see things pop up as old mine cut.
Hmm.
What does that actually mean? Is that just it was cut at the mine?
No, no, it's an era of
Okay.
diamond cutting. And it typically refers to a cushion shape. So if you had
Okay.
a cubic shaped diamond, they would kind of diamonds cleave.
Right.
You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
So they could cleave off part of the diamond and be left with this particular shape. So there is very little work that they had to do to make it into this old mine cut.
Gotcha. So it's just a simpler way to cut a diamond.
It was a simpler way.
Yeah.
Yeah. As technology got better, they could do fancier things.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, they're cutting it in half, ended up with two little pyramids, and kind of just shaped the tops a little bit.
Basically.
Yeah.
So if you have one of those octahedrons of fluorite,
Right.
those cleave really easy.
Right.
That's pretty much the same thing. They knock off like the top third
Right.
and then kind of
Okay.
work on that square shape.
I actually really want a fluoride. I saw one on Etsy for, I don't know, it was probably a little over $100. Probably
Must have been
30.
huge.
Yeah, it was like 30 carats or something. It would be a mantelpiece.
Hmm.
um, I find that I really love the colors of fluoride, and they're
Oh yeah.
more accessible as far as price point.
Hmm.
You can get some really cool ones. So I was like, well, maybe I'll collect those because you
Yeah.
you get the thrill of having something cool, and
Let me
like they
see.
glow under UV light. I'm trying to think of the actual term for it.
Fluorescent. Yes.
Fluorescent, yes.
Fluorescent. I've got a piece here that doesn't have very good structure. And this is like a bunch of crystals
Right.
all together that came from it came from China.
China's supposed to
But
be one of the better ones. Oh, yeah.
it does kind of get this fluorescent milky white color
Right.
to it.
Yeah, I have a. I think I probably sent you the picture, just like a almost aquamarine blue sitting on a
Yeah.
little host rock. Looks like ice cubes.
Yes.
It's just, and that was like $30. I'm like, you know what? It's not that expensive. It's a cool looking thing, and that's how it comes out.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Too
But
bad
yeah,
it's so soft.
right. Yeah. I mean, you can't really do much with it for sure. But I don't do anything with this stuff, so I just
Just
stare at
look
it
at it.
anyway.
So it'd be perfect.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, it'll be a great mantelpiece. Get a
Yeah.
little cool box for it, sit it
Oh
on the mantle.
yeah. Some little
That's
lights to shine behind it.
exactly. And then an option to switch it to UV light.
Oh,
See,
I
I
like
mean,
it.
the possibilities are endless.